Welcome to What the Heck Is That Phonograph? A video series where we'll explore odd and unusual phonographs. In this episode, we'll explore an early Columbia disc graphophone that is powered by DC electric. The Columbia Phonograph Company was incorporated in January 1889 by a group of Washington, D.C. businessmen led by 32-year-old court reporter Edward D. Easton. Easton's experience in court reporting and stenography, a prime business target for Edison's Class M, spurred his interest in the phonograph. The Columbia Phonograph Company struggled in a fledgling phonograph industry where the predominant belief was that the phonograph was to be used only for business.
What?
Seizing an opportunity, seeing the future of phonographs in entertainment, Columbia became the primary distributor of musical cylinder recordings featuring the United States Marine Band. Columbia continued to innovate, introducing spring-powered graphophones in 1894. In 1895, Columbia introduced the Bijou, or Model N, the first highly successful and more reasonably priced spring-motor graphophone targeted for home use. Columbia continued to produce both spring-powered and DC electric-powered cylinder graphophones. In 1901, Columbia introduced two spring-powered disc graphophones. The AH, Columbia's first 10-inch disc graphophone priced at $30, and the AJ, Columbia's first 7-inch disc graphophone priced at $20. In 1902, Columbia introduced an additional spring-powered disc graphophone. The AK, Columbia's value 7-inch disc graphophone priced at $15. At this time, it would have been very reasonable for Columbia to introduce a DC electric-powered outside horn disc graphophone. However, there is no evidence in any catalog or advertising that they ever did. No evidence except for this single surviving example of a DC electric disc graphophone that is early and clearly of Columbia manufacture. Upon examination, the first thing one notices is the complete lack of a case, turntable reproducer, tone arm, or horn. The DC electric motor is a derivation of the same DC electric motor that powered all Columbia DC electric cylinder graphophones. And in fact, it is powered by the same 2.5 volts DC. The beveled gears, fiber gear powering the governor, and governor itself are all reminiscent or the same as used on other Columbia disc graphophones. The spindle has a beveled collar used to accept a turntable like other Columbia disc graphophones. The bedplate and frame are unique, made of cast brass with a line of plugged holes and only roughly finished. There are several oil holes on the top of the casting that lead to bearings and gears below the frame. There is an attachment point with 3 screws for a front mount support arm that would hold a tone arm, reproducer, and horn. There is no on-off switch attached to the graphophone itself, but a separate on-off switch, the same as used on early Columbia electric treadle graphophones, is present. A push-pull speed control is present, the same as used on spring-motor disc graphophones.
Isn't that amazing?
Lastly, there is an interesting small round brass plate affixed to the bed plate with the model number 286. What the heck is that phonograph? I'll offer one possible answer.
This is a prototype, DC electric-powered Columbia disc graphophone that was never produced.
The small round brass plate on the bed plate is the single most important piece of evidence supporting this conclusion. The plate identifies this DC electric disc graphophone as being previously part of the Columbia archives. It is a prototype as it is made from cast brass. A final production model would have been made of cast iron, finely finished, and would have been nickel plated. Though Columbia produced electrically driven cylinder graphophones, spring motor graphophones represented the vast majority of Columbia cylinder graphophone sales. For home use, a battery-powered disc graphophone using expensive and caustic batteries was just not as practical as a spring motor disc graphophone. Fortunately, we have this fully functioning example of a Columbia DC electric disc graphophone to see what might have been. Thank you for watching this episode of What the Heck Is That Phonograph?